All right, we're live and ready to go. Welcome to the special Black Friday edition of FECoff Friday. So glad to be here, and we're back with Jesse and Isabel, as well as a phenomenal guest, Tino, who was the first person that they ever worked with for treating a dog with cancer using cannabis. And Tino is an amazing personality, and I'm just super excited to have him here. And of course, Jesse and Isabel back as well. Thank you for making time on this holiday of weekends. And yeah, just really excited to jump in and have Tino tell his story so that all our viewers can learn about it and see how cannabis can possibly help their dogs.
Well, right on, Justin. Thank you for having us back on the show. We're excited as well. I think most of what's going to happen right now is going to come from Tino. So I guess we start asking him some questions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm thinking, Tino, just talk about so your dog was Shorty and just, telling how it all started, how you found Jesse and Isabel and her experience would be really helpful for our viewers. I think you might be on mute.
Oh no, I was just messing with you.
Good one.
Yeah, we had a hell of a time getting on this thing. So I hope you people appreciate the struggle we just went through from the comfort of our own homes while wearing no bottoms and just a top to look like we're
You can
professional.
do
it. Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Tino. I didn't know that I was the first dog that you worked with, by the way, Jesse.
You were, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah, so a friend of mine in LA, I had lost my boy Buster. If you go to our page, My Dog Beat Cancer with CBD on Facebook, that's the puppy you see in the banner. I lost him in 2012 to hemangiosarcoma. He was only 8 years old, and that was the devastating, and that's his paw print right there. That dog and Shorty completely changed my life. So when Shorty got cancer in March 14, 2015, a friend of mine from LA, man, I have to call her and thank her again for that. Julia, I don't know if you know Julia, Jesse and Isabel. Anyway, Julia turned me on to you guys. Hey, check this out. I'm hearing good stuff about it. Of course, we had heard all about Tommy Chong and his prostate cancer and everything. But so I called him. Jesse was the person I talked to, and that's the truth. And we started her on it, and the vet told me that she had about 8 weeks to live on March 14th, 2015. He said she's got about 8 weeks to live. And I remember how he said it too. They have no bedside manner. I get it. Yeah, she'll be gone in 8 weeks. Like, he just said it so matter-of-factly like that. And I wanted to punch him in his face. And my friend had reached, I guess I had posted it on Facebook, and she said, check these guys out. And I called, and then we got her on it, and she made it another 5 years with no chemo. We changed her diet. She was a raw fed dog. And then we went to the Dog Cancer Survival Guide by Damian Dressler. And so every year I would send that veterinarian a video of her. I go, hey, year 1, year 2, year 3. And then after about year 3, he physically called me and said, hey, man, I'm a believer. They're not supposed to talk about it, but he's like, I tell people, check this out for cancer. And that was about 3 years in. And again, Shorty made it another 2 years after that. So 5 years she made it. And then we just a week shy of her 17th birthday, and we had to let her go because of old age. She didn't die of cancer. She couldn't walk anymore. She was losing her hearing, and then her sight started to go. So it just became quality of life at that point. I mean, 17 years that dog made it, and 5 years after she was given a death sentence for 8 weeks from lymphoma. So yeah, this stuff works. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we
amazing.
first met, Tino. You initially you said, yeah, it was me that we talked. Initially, Isabel and I, we used to work with another company just to clear the air here. And
well, that's why I said it that way. Because
yeah.
I actually did talk to you. I did talk to you.
We used to work for another company, but during that time, the owner of the company didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
why I'm
sent me out
saying.
there and he said, hey, you talk to this guy. I don't want to talk to him. And I said, all right. And you and I remember we were outside of the house. We actually talked downstairs on the sidewalk because he didn't want to meet with you, and said, I'll talk to him. And so we talked. I gave you some medicine. We talked a little more later that day. And then I remember that evening, you started already telling me, hey man, she's doing pretty good already. She's starting to feel better.
You guys, you forgot to mention that I actually drove in from Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, you did.
to where you were. And that's the funny thing is, like, we never talk about that other company, the company that shall not be named. But I did find that number for that other company. But when people try to, call me out, oh, didn't you work with this company? Yeah, but the first person I ever talked to and the person I dealt with was Jesse. So that was never a lie, because I would say, yeah, I contacted Jesse. Yeah, I contacted this company, and Jesse was the first guy that I talked to. So yeah, I don't need to lie. Other company.
But from the other company, you just got medicine. You didn't get dosing. You got dosing from us.
Right.
That's right.
So that was really the most, I think, crucial part, because they didn't know how, and they still don't know how to do that.
Good point. Yeah. I mean, you and I talked for weeks at a time, and then finally we met back up again at back at the place, and you brought Shorty over, and she was doing great at that point.
Yeah.
And you and I, we just stayed in touch ever since.
Yeah. And not to mention that the original creator, founder of that company, you're still working with. The wife.
The wife.
Yeah.
The ex-wife.
Ex-wife, sorry.
Yeah. So we have a good team now. Justin and Jamie, they've met her. That's Suzanne DeCarian over at Earth Alchemy Holistic Care. You guys have met her, and she's great. And I mean, the team we have now helping us make the medicine, figure out the dosing, and then Tino's always, thank you so much, by the way, Tino's always advocating for us because of how we helped them. But yeah, now we have a good support team. We have great medicine. The protocols are working the way that we're adjusting and making changes when it comes to any adverse side effects. Everybody's getting great results at this point from the medicine and the protocols that we came up with.
Yeah, and so Tino was essentially, the first one where you started exploring what protocol may be effective, and it's come a long way. But Tino, it does seem like you took an approach that many patients now are, of using CBD and THC oils to start, and then graduating to FECo, correct?
Well, the great thing about that was, I still have this huge page on Facebook, Peace, Love, and Pit Bulls, nonprofit 501c3 rescue training for pit bulls. So I have this huge following, and I just paid it forward. I was telling everybody, hey, look, because I work in dog rescue and training, and I see this all the time. I mean, the dogs before Shorty, I lost all before the age of 10. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is this cancer? What, dogs aren't supposed to, they're supposed to live longer than that. And, once you address the diet and getting them off the kibble and all that, then you got everything else to deal with, the pesticides, the water, whatever. But this cancer is just coming from all directions. So when I found Jesse and I found out about cannabis oil, I was just furious that I didn't know about this, 2 years earlier, because I had lost Buster. I was like, hey, you guys, look at this. And we were able to really help a lot of people because of the Peace, Love, and Pit Bulls had. And there's another thing, is because I had been this guy that was, kind of known on Facebook with the kissing booth and the treadmill with my dog, like many viral videos. Like, they knew that I was just some snake oil salesman coming on saying, hey, buy this stuff. It's going to, it's the second coming. No, they had already known who I was and who my pack was. And we were able to help so many more people because of that.
Not to mention the other doggies that we've helped since then, your doggies. Just about all your doggies are on the medicine now, right?
Yeah.
Some form or another, CBD, something going on with them. And we're helping all your doggies. 3 of them right now for,
inflammation. One of them is like 15, 16 years old. Actually, all 3 of my oldest ones, I got them on it. Yeah, good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
always
the
better to
powder and the
prevent.
tinctures and all that.
If you know that cancer is coming, or I mean, any dog that's old, in my opinion, should be on CBD and at least low doses of THC. But especially if there's a genetic predisposition or any emerging symptoms, people often want to be what's the perfect treatment? How do I do this exactly right? And really, one of the most important things is, as long as you can get a clean, high quality medicine, get started with the CBD as soon as possible. And then if it is cancer, then you're attacking it early. And even if it's not, then you're preventing it possibly in the future. So that's good that they're all on it now.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing, I think, when we're talking about what Shorty was diagnosed with, which was lymphoma, it's preventative ahead of time and then being very proactive at some point. Because once it hits, it's so fast that depending on the type of lymphoma, there's a bunch of different ones, but they're usually all very aggressive, and they tend to cause a bunch of problems with appetite and energy and mood. And, the parent, when they see the doggy that has lymphoma, they really, really get worried, right? Because the doggy declines super quick. And, I was just talking to somebody this morning, and she's a medical person. She works in the medical field, and she was telling me she went to the vet, and the vet kept trying to figure out what it was. They went to another vet. They couldn't figure it out. Lymph nodes, antibiotics. They were going through gabapentins and all these other Western, prescriptions that they were trying to figure it out. And then 3 months later, they finally figured out that it was a spleen mass that they still don't know what it is unless they do a biopsy. So it took them 3 months to figure out what type of cancer. And at that point, they finally told her, you know what, we can't help you anymore because it's gone into other parts of the body now. It's in the lungs, it's in the kidneys and what have you. So to me, when I hear people talk about lymphoma and they've just found out, if you know that your dog has been diagnosed with lymphoma, you don't need to talk to us yet. You can do something right now. You can go out and get yourself some CBD now. I'm not saying that the CBD that you're going to get is going to help your dog 100% and go into remission and all that, but it's going to help in the very beginning. Now you bought yourself a couple days time, then you can call us. Obviously try and get a hold of us before then, but just know that if you can get yourself some CBD, it will help, even if it's not the greatest type or brand or whatever. But eventually you will need to get more weapons to deal with the cancer, namely THC. And, that becomes a little tricky giving it to your dog. So that's why we do what we do, because it's, you don't have a lot of time. You're trying to figure stuff out that you're not 100% sure about. And so we streamline all that information for you, just like we did for Tino. Actually, when Tino and I first talked, we kind of figured it out together, because we really didn't know that much about it at the time. And so I kept giving Tino advice, and then he'd come back. Good thing was, Tino was kind of, I know I'm talking about you like you're not here, bro, but you were so easy to work with that if I gave you some advice, you would take it and then go to the next level. Like, hey, man, I know you told me to give him 5 drops, but I did 10 drops. And, I know you told me to give him a little bit of FECo, but, Shorty was doing good, so we gave a little more. And that, to me, is kind of the way that we normally have the best results, when you're not afraid to try the medicine, giving it in a way where you see your dog having good positive feedback and responses. And then we just hope and pray for the best, because like Tino said, this is not the second coming of Christ. It's not going to solve every problem, but it's a real good solution for a lot of the issues that happen from cancer, right? Lack of appetite, inflammation, pain, neurologically, the dog feels, yucky. So in the very beginning, if you can help with just a little bit of CBD, it does a lot, inflammation-wise, pain-wise, neurologically. And then, hey, do your best. If you can't get a hold of us, or get a hold of Tino, maybe ask him for some advice. He's got a large group. He's always willing to talk to people. Peace, Love, and Pit Bulls. His Facebook groups are My Dog Beat Cancer with cannabis. Is that what it's called?
With CBD. If you just go to my dog beat cancer CBD.com, that takes you right to the Facebook page. Because sometimes people can't find it. I think I don't know what Facebook is doing. It seems
banning.
It seems like because sometimes you can't find it. I've heard from people, and that's why I created the URL mydogbeatcancercbd.com. Or .org. Try both, but it's My Dog Beat Cancer CBD. And peaceloveandpitbulls.org takes you to everything. But another thing that Jesse forgot to mention, I mean, cannabis CBD helps with, autoimmune, all kinds of diseases and stuff, but also with hangovers. First of all, I don't drink, so it's not like I have a problem and I'm just trying to tell people. No, we did an experiment when I lived in LA. We all went to, what was that guy's house?
Brandon Frazier. I'm hoping he doesn't get upset we use his name.
It took me one drink, basically, but everybody. So the goal was the purpose was we're all going to drink. We're going to get a little faded, and then we're going to take the CBD to see how long it sobers us up. And that stuff works. We all drank, and then I drove home on my motorcycle.
Yeah, I was going to say you're on your motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was an experiment that I, for a long time, thought this is something that I want to try with the right medicine. And we didn't have the right medicine at the time. We had CBD from cannabis, which has THC in it. So if you mix that with alcohol, just know, guys, THC can escalate or increase the effects of alcohol. So you don't necessarily want to do a CBD with THC to sober you up. What we had at the time was a powder CBD, which we still have. It's that nano CBD powder. Yeah. And so I thought, hey, if it takes away cancer, if it takes away seizures, if it takes away the narcotic effect of a lot of prescriptions and drugs, wouldn't it take away the euphoric reaction of alcohol and sober you up? So that's what I did. I actually kind of sprung it on everybody after everybody had been drinking. We were just hanging out, having dinner, having a good time. And then I said, hey, guys, try this and see what you feel. And everybody tried the exact same amount. They only tried a little bit of the CBD.
No, they tried one scoop. It wasn't even to anybody's body weight.
We didn't do it to their body weight. Brandon weighs more than Tino, and he drank way more than Tino. But he took one scoop, and within 15 minutes or less, he wasn't slurring anymore. He wasn't talking like he had been drinking. And he was like, dude, you killed my buzz. What's going on? Remember that, Tino? And I was like, dude, that's awesome, because you could always drink more. But if you had, the reason why I wanted to try it in the first place was we were thinking if we could produce a product that people can use safely. Let's say you've been out drinking and you are going to drive home. I mean, how many people, they say you're not supposed to, but people do it all the time. They drive home after they've had a couple of drinks thinking they feel good. But let's say you can take a beverage after that will completely sober you up. That's what I wanted to do, and it worked. Just crazy.
That's super interesting. I also just want to throw in real fast that it's actually or there's evidence that it works in a similar way for psychedelics. So like with psilocybin or LSD, both of them work by activating a type of serotonin receptor called 5-HT2A, and CBD is actually an antagonist of that receptor. So in the same way that CBD can bring you down from, I don't know how it works with the alcohol, but THC, it can help bring you down by blocking the CB1 receptor. Same thing with psychedelics, as it blocks the 5-HT2A receptor. So, if anyone's having a difficult experience, you can take a big dose and possibly modulate it. Exactly. I also want to take it back to Shorty real fast, because we're getting some questions about what the symptoms that she had initially that led to her diagnosis.
Oh, okay. So I remember I was waking up in the morning, and their dogs are always around the bed, and I was leaning over, or I had my hand over the side, and I was just petting her as I was waking up. And then I just felt this huge bump, like a ball, under her and on her neck, and then on both sides, and then all in here. I didn't even know there were lymph nodes here, like on her chest area. I didn't even get to her groin or behind her legs. As soon as I felt this, I was like, oh, there's something going on. So I took her. It's funny because before I moved to LA, I was out there doing a seminar training the dogs, and she was my demo dog, and I have her sitting on a place looking at me, and you could see, I didn't notice, you could just see the lymph nodes, how big they were. And she just wasn't herself. When I think back, I was like, but I thought she was just getting older. I mean, she was 12 at that time.
10. Oh yeah.
She was 12. 12
already, dude.
12. And so I just thought, she was slowing down. But when I go, oh, she wasn't her peppy self, but then you could see in the picture, like, her lymph nodes. So as soon as I felt that, I took her to the vet, and they did the test and everything, and it came back lymphoma, and he told me she had 8 weeks to live. But that's all I saw was just the lymph nodes.
One thing I want to add to that, guys, is when people hear from the vet that the lymph nodes are inflamed with lymphatic fluid from the lymphoma, the vets sometimes recommend to remove them. I'm not a doctor, vet. I've always told people that because I'm not, right? But we've been able to get doggies' lymphoma to go into remission, and we've never had to excise, remove, take away lymph nodes. So, guys, what I'm saying to everybody watching the podcast, if you have a doggy, has lymphoma and the lymph nodes are swollen, let's wait before we remove the lymph nodes or do something invasive like that. And, let's talk a little bit, because we've been able to get doggies into remission without having to do any surgeries, which to me, it just sounds crazy that you would want to remove a lymph node from the body, which is designed to help the body eliminate lymphatic fluid. So now what are you going to be left with? You don't have that pumping station. You don't have those.
So that was basically the filter. That's what I was just going to ask you. Why would you remove the filter? Like, we live on well water out here, and there's certain stuff that we gotta filter out before we drink it. Oh, you know what we should do? We should just get rid of the filter. That'll make it better. What the hell kind of thinking is that?
I
never heard that. People want to remove it because it's clogged. There's a backup in there. So yeah, you just got to clean it out.
Wow.
So also, I think they don't have any other options. I mean, if all they have is, the conventional treatments, it's like, there's just, there's tons of things that we know don't need to be done if you can get at it through another approach. But
exactly.
Yeah. Don't have it. That's all they're thinking of.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, by the way, I feel like I have to mention this. I broke my finger about a month ago, and I had surgery, and like, this ball is me working out all the knots. So this arm, because of my finger's broken, so tight, and then this arm because I've been working it. So if anybody's watching, I'm not just fidgety and have ADD. I mean, I do have ADD, but like this, like I have to work out these knots. So sorry if this is distracting to anybody.
It's that evening arm wrestling competition you're getting prepped for, brother.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like a ball that Shorty would have played with, almost. Like,
this is actually specifically made to roll on. This physical therapist from the Bay Area called Kelly Starrett, I believe. Anyway, get one of these for your knots. I'm telling you guys. It's called
Very cool.
It's called this. I think it's called the Supernova. All right.
I'm sure there's a Black Friday deal on it today if anybody has some sore muscles.
Yeah. It's a game changer. Sorry, go ahead.
We also got some questions coming in about what either of you might think, for a dog who doesn't have cancer yet, but the owners are considering using it for prevention purposes. Like, what do you think would be a good dose, in your experience, that might be good to keep a relatively healthy dog on to possibly prevent cancer? Of course, there's no guarantees, but evidence certainly suggests that it would reduce risk.
The way we figured it out, and it's not something you can look up online, we kind of figured it out from trial and error. A third of what the doggy weighs, or person, cat, whoever's taking the medicine, the CBD for preventative reasons, a third of what they weigh in milligrams, broken up into 1 to 2 doses a day. So the example I'm going to use right now is a 50-pound dog. Oh no, that's not a good example. 60-pound dog. We would want to give that dog 20 milligrams, which is a third of 60 pounds in milligrams of whatever you're giving. If it's CBD, a combination of CBD and THC. Normally, though, for preventative, for wellness, I just recommend CBD. As a matter of fact, and there's a little plug. We have a nano CBD powder on our website, healingprojectcbd.com. That would be ideal because it comes already preloaded in a package where you can measure out 15 milligrams at a time. So we can get pretty close with that CBD powder, and the guessing game is taken out. So if you have a dog that weighs about 50 pounds, you would give them 1 scoop 1 to twice a day. And what that's going to do, Justin, is help the dog, or whoever was asking the question, it's going to help the body to perform at its optimum way of doing things, with chemical functions within the organs, healing, detoxifying, getting rid of inflammation, allowing homeostasis to happen. And, you know, Isabel and I, we've actually seen that ourselves personally. We take a butt ton of CBD. I send Tino CBD all the time for him to take too. We all take for prevention. So that's the one I would recommend. CBD for prevention. Get something that's really clean. If you don't get our CBD on our website, which right now we're doing a Black Friday thing, if you guys want to get it. But if not, any CBD, just remember, all CBD is created differently, and the way the body absorbs it, the way that it's manufactured, the strains that they use to produce it, whether it's hemp or cannabis, it makes a big difference in the final outcome. So if you're taking a CBD and you haven't felt anything, you might want to look into getting something a little better quality, because the body builds up a tolerance to it pretty quickly. And before you know it, it's not giving you the same effect you had when you first took it.
One more thing I want to add. You're talking about, should we give it as a preventative measure? Yes, absolutely. But I don't know how many dogs it takes for you guys out there watching to lose before you start reassessing what you're doing with your dogs. Like I said before, the last 3, before I met Jesse, and all my dogs died before the age of 10. Growing up, all of them never lived past 10. And then I started going down the rabbit hole with diet, dryer sheets, detergent, pesticides, water. First of all, get your dogs off the kibble. I don't care if you're paying $100 for 10 pounds. Get your dogs off of kibble. It is not. Think about if we as humans lived on cereal.
No way, man.
How healthy would we be? That's what we're doing to our dogs. So number 1, get your dogs off the kibble. I recommend ROG. It's called the BARF diet. 80-10-10, 80 meat, 80% meat, 10% bone, 10% organs. Get your dogs off the kibble. Start there. Then get rid of the dryer sheets. What's in your laundry? You think the dryer sheet sounds like the summer sky because they rubbed it on the summer sky? No, they put chemicals in there. So all that shit is causing cancer. Get rid of the dryer sheets. There's this place called Drops. No, we don't get anything back from them. We did some research. Drops. You don't use the dryer sheets. It's like a ball. It's like a foam ball. I know that. A lint ball. Keep it away from your dogs because your dogs will rip it up in a second. And then there's the detergent. Then you get into pesticides. You get into, what are you mopping your floor with?
Yeah,
we just use, at this point, we're using apple cider vinegar, the white vinegar and water. Because your dogs are walking on there, they're licking their paws. You want to go down the rabbit hole, we can go there, but get them off the kibble and stop with the dryer sheets and the candles, the scented candles. All right, I'm going to stop there. Follow Dr.
Just live clean, know what you're using in your house.
Follow Dr. Karen Becker on Instagram. She's always putting out information. She's a vet who's not trying to write you a prescription for everything. She's like, eat well, exercise. Yeah. So that's what you do. But then, absolutely get them on the CBD if they're getting older for inflammation. By the way, I don't take it, Jesse, because I give it all to my dogs. So I've been needing to.
Your finger needs it. Take a little.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Also, CBD has been shown to help rebuild the collagen, or help with the collagen cross-link matrix or something. I don't fully understand that study, but basically it's helping the collagen in muscles and joints build back up in a proper way, and it accelerates it. So there actually is some preclinical evidence that CBD actually accelerates the healing of muscles. And There was this one, just real fast, there was this one doctor in Colorado who treated, he's treated hundreds and hundreds of sports players. And there was this one MMA fighter who had some significant injury that he was giving high doses of CBD. And I remember the doctor specifically said, I've never seen someone heal from this type of joint tear. It might have been ACL. I wish I could remember all the details, but what he said, someone who had worked with hundreds of people said he saw something heal faster than any of the hundred of people he's worked with. And it was a severe, muscle tear. So, I mean, that's all you need to see there, a doctor, backing that up. And then there's the preclinical evidence where they're getting real deep into the mechanisms of how it's working. So,
well, I'm living
awesome.
proof, brother. I take 5 scoops of our CBD 3 to 4 times a day.
Damn.
A bunch of it. Yeah, I take, let's see, 1 scoop is 15 milligrams. I'm literally taking more than 10. So over 150 milligrams of CBD daily, but I still work out every day. I'm over 50 and I feel great. I used to have a bad back because it doesn't bother me anymore. L1 through 5 was all messed up and bulging disc and wasn't able to even tie my shoe at one point. Now I can deadlift, I can squat, I can do whatever the heck I want to do. I don't feel my age, man. And a lot of people have told me too, hey man, how do you keep your skin? So the collagen part, I think is true. I know for a fact that, I'd probably look a little older if I didn't put it on my skin. I rub CBD oil on my face every night before bed and in the morning when I wake up. I mean, I have access to it, but I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why I feel and my skin looks so good.
So you're taking, you said 5 scoops 5 times a day, or
3 to 5 times a day. So on a real bad day, if I really feel my back bothering me, I'll take one in the morning, and then I'll take one in the afternoon. I'll take one late afternoon, and then I'll take one at night before bed. But the problem is when you take a lot of CBD like I do from the powder that we have, it takes away your appetite big time.
Oh, wow.
I have no appetite most of the day.
So then that's why you got to smoke.
And that's why I got to smoke. Yeah, I do, because if not, then I'll sit at the dinner table and I'll eat, but I can't enjoy my food. And I love food. Oh, I love food. But just the CBD takes away my appetite to the point where I don't crave sugar. I don't crave anything. It just, because you're reducing your body fat. There's a mechanism that CBD can decouple stored fat and you use it as energy. So throughout the day, I literally feel my stomach on fire because my skin around my belly fat is getting burned up and I'm using it as energy all day long.
So miracle weight loss drug. You heard it here first.
Yeah, but I don't tell people that because then they're going to say, well, I want to try. Well, you got to take a bunch. I take a lot. I don't do any fat burners like I used to back in the day to, stay trimmed up. I used to take them all the time. But now I just take CBD.
Will CBD help these big ass Samsonite bags under my eyes?
Yeah, dude, but you got to put a little bit of it in some water and then put it on your face overnight. And by the morning, it's all healed up, dude. I put it on my skin all the time.
I'm turning into Danny Trejo over here. I mean, those are the worst bags. Those are the worst bags ever, man. And they're just getting worse.
They don't look bad.
Hey, don't let Danny hear you say that, man.
We need to get him some CBD.
Yeah, man. Well, it was cool having you on the show, brother. I'm glad that we got to see each other for a little minute.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I knew that it would be. And it's nice when expectations are met. So any closing words or thoughts that anybody has?
Did you say when applications or when expectations? Because the application
they both
expectations.
Oh. Yeah,
you also applied yourself very efficiently in this interview, and we're very patient getting it ready. So so appreciative.
Well, I do want to say one last thing. I want to thank Tino one more time for being on the show. But if people ever decide at some point that they're going to get started with cannabis as a regimen for their dog that has cancer, do a little research up front. It doesn't take a lot, but do a little research up front. And if you can't figure it out, call us. I don't know why people are afraid of talking to me. Sometimes they're afraid that I'm going to charge them. Every consultation that we have in the beginning, it's free. We don't charge a single dime. Now, once we decide to move forward, if you guys need medicine, we help you figure it out and we get you the medicine and all that stuff. But at that point, we obviously got to charge you for the medicine, but we never charge anybody just to talk. So if anybody just wants to talk, find out how we can help them. The website, they're probably going to list it on the podcast, but it's healingprojectoc.com, and you could schedule an appointment anytime. Or give me a call, straight up. Give me a call to my number, 626-890-0474. Not a lot of people leave their number out there, but mine's all over the black web, so it's no big deal.
That's awesome. It's amazing that you're able to do that and have the emotional bandwidth to deal with all the questions. It's not easy.
I love
but
it, man. I love it. I spoke to a lady this morning. She was really cool, man. We got on the phone. She cried a little. I helped her feel better, and at the end of the conversation, she felt great, and she said, "Hey, man, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. We're going to get started." I said, "All right, good. Let's get your doggy some help."
Well, that's the addicting part, when people, are in such a panic state, and like to have the power to like alleviate panic and fear of death.
We love it. That's the biggest part.
Yeah, for sure. It's a rush. Like, so that's very sustaining.
Right on.
That's cool.
Well, guys, it was great talking.
We'll do it again sounds soon. Great. This was a truly amazing podcast. I'm so happy that it worked out. We got through those technical issues before. So thank you all for accommodating that, and should be able to have that fixed going forward. But yeah, truly amazing Black Friday, Thanksgiving style podcast. And I'm thankful that it worked out.
Right on, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.